Pep Talk UK. Delighted, joined once again by my comrade, Black Box Management, head honcho.
Gotcha. What's good?
Mate, I feel good because, as Dutchavelli says, surely, boxing's going to be back. We're going to come out of this torrid time, and it's good. The times are going to be good again, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Listen, it's it's going to be a long road until we recover, totally. But God willing, we'll come out of this positive. And the lockdown and stuff's going to go on for a little bit longer in terms of the fight scene. They're going to have behind closed doors events. And then we'll, end, maybe September next year, we'll get back to the glory days where we've got, the crowded events. And listen, I think that's going to be like a big awakening party once that happens, because the good old days when the fans are singing and chanting and enjoying it.
Caroline, oh.
Hey. You get me? Listen, goddamn. Bro. Hey, that's the big boy one day. You get me? And I love that song. When that's going on and it's electrifying atmosphere, 20,000 people, 30,000 people singing. Listen, you can't beat the atmosphere with the goosebumps on your back, your neck. Oh, mate. You know what I mean? I miss that the nights of boxing. So I'm looking forward to it. Listen, right now what we've got to look forward to at the minute is the closed events. I mean, we got to be happy what we've got. On the weekend just past, we had an event 249 UFC. Whyte now is pioneering, leading the way, and showing us, what we can expect. Closed events. He put on a great card with great fights, and 700,000 pay-per-view buyers. You can't ask for more than that. I thoroughly enjoyed watching the event. Obviously, he took all the preventatory measures in testing people. Who had to have masks had masks. Who had to have testing, and they got the job done, and it was a success. So it shows that events and sports and things can continue to go on and don't need to be, shut still. Because look, he's proven he showed the blueprint what needs to be done, and we need to kind of follow suit. I understand people have concerns, but yet again, at the same time, we need to take the preventatory measures to, make sure the economy in the world still spins. Because, for a minute, time stood still. The economy went to its lowest and bent to its knees. And now, we're going to have a situation where the property market's going to crash. And people are at their lowest, unemployment rate. There's so many things going on. And I think we need to get up and running. I know Donald Trump, people were laughing and complaining about what he said. But, the Americans, they're in a big debt. So they know what, and they're a lot bigger country than us. So they know that they need to go, get themselves up and running. At the same time, we need to take, caution and understand there was a pandemic and this virus was going around. But it just depends who you talk to. Some people say it's airborne, some people say it's don't. It's just one of them. But I feel right now, it's been a couple months now, I feel like, I think we're on the decline in terms of cases and deaths and so on. So I think we need to slowly take steps to do that. I think Boris, I know he said he wants to lock the airport now. It's a bit too late, to be honest. He should have done that 2 months ago, like most countries. But, he wants to check the people and quarantine them. That will help. But I think if he'd done that 2 months ago, we probably would have had less cases, you know what I mean? But time is now. We need to get these events on the road. We need to get our boys out there fighting, get fit, get fighting, and bring that excitement back.
We mentioned obviously UFC, the return of UFC, kind of paving a way of how to host an event in the safest manner that we can do. But there's rumors out there that Bob Arum is going to follow suit with Top Rank and put on a show early June. Now, in the boxing world, this is going to be a step forward that no one else has yet done.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be good. We just got to see what happens with that. The British Boxing Board is something totally different, though. They're very stringent. They're very finicky, and basically they do to what they're doing, and they apply the sanctions and rules as they choose to, and so fit. As you can see, their punishment, how they punish Billy Joe Saunders for saying any little thing he does, it shows you how they are. In America, Billy Joe Saunders doing that thing, you wouldn't even hear a weep or a peep out of any of the governing bodies, the Nevada State Commission, if he was doing any of that stuff. You know what I mean? They don't. Them guys say worse stuff, and they're not penalised. You know what I mean? I'm not condoning what he done, but I'm just showing you the difference in UK boxing and American boxing and so on and beyond, globally. You know what I mean? So they're ruling law unto themselves. Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, they're going to do what they want to. They're going to relax the conditions when they want to, and we just got to kind of be patient.
Hey, I'm just hoping now that we see a little bit of a light in the tunnel, that these fighters are ready, man. Because you know what? I'm ready. I'm ready. You're ready. I know you're ready, bro. So the fight is surely, you got to be ready to go soon, because as the promoters are saying, once we get up and running, it's going to be a roller coaster ride. The fans need that action.
Listen, I've been ready, man. Listen, do you know what? This situation, this pandemic couldn't have came at a worse time. I put a lot of groundwork and a lot of work in last year, coming into this year to have a great year. And there was lots of things in the pipeline for my boys and so on. And, at the end of the day, this has come. At the end of the day, I'm not going to complain. This is God's will. And, this is what it is. At the end of the day, we've got to look at it like it's just one of them. It's out of our control. This virus has come along and it's shut down the whole world, in fact, you know what I mean? So it's just one of them things. Condolences to the people that have passed, but the people who have recovered are here and still fighting and dealing with this pandemic. So I'm not being disrespectful and undermining it, but you know what I mean? It's like it has rocked the whole world to its core, really, in terms of what's gone on. There's many people that have had passing. I know a lot of family members, friends and close family members that have passed as well, and so on. So it's a trying time, But right now, I just feel like, what we're going to do, are we going to just sit here and continue waiting? I know these people have a bigger agenda talking about this vaccine. If people know about vaccines, everyone knows, this vaccine, they don't actually help and cure anything, to be honest. If anything, they make things a lot worse, to be honest. I don't know what the government's got planned with all of this, but I'm not interested in any vaccine. I think we all need to be smart, educate ourselves, try to boost our immune system, take our vitamin C and be smart and just look after ourselves, you know what I mean? And then I think we can beat this thing together, being smart and being educated, you know what I'm saying, and looking after yourself. If you notice now, you got a lot more people because I guess that was the only thing they had to do was exercise. Everyone's exercising now because they wouldn't get out of their house, you know what I mean? But I think that's a great basis for people to keep doing, exercising, pushing the heart rate, building the immune system, eating your oranges, vitamin C, and taking vitamin C tablets, vitamin D tablets, and trying to just be smart, you know what I mean?
Sorry to interrupt. You see the likes of Dave Allen. He's looking in tremendous shape.
Is he?
Tremendous shape, man. Go on his IG, man. You'll see, man. He's war ready, man.
Okay, no, I haven't seen anything, if truth be told. I don't know. I think I do follow him, actually. Me and him follow each other, but I haven't seen anything. Maybe I'll go on there and have a butcher's. Oh, that's good for him that he's, he's been mentally switched on. Some people will be mentally switched on, some won't. And some people will come out if the trap's real slow. They're probably going to come on a bit too heavy and out of shape. And when fight night comes, there might be a few upsets we got to see. You know what I mean? It'll be interesting.
Right. So basically, I got to tell you something. Basically, the other day, I gave the old man a call, a video call, and he said, "Look at this." I said, "Look at what?" So he puts the phone to the side and he shows me some shadow boxing. I'm like, "What are you doing, old man?" He's like, "See it, Mike Tyson, James Toney, Evander Holyfield. These guys are looking to fight again." So I said, "Dad, listen, that's them. This is not you, man." So he's like, at this time, it looks like Mike Tyson is inspired all the post 50s out there. I mean, would you make a Mike Tyson looking hella sharp?
You know what? Like I said, credit to Mike Tyson. He looks amazing on the pads. You know what I mean? Once you got it, you got it, and it always stays with you, the skill and mindset and that mentality. Him coming back to make a few quid, kudos to him. Definitely think it's a good idea if he can go and fight him. People were talking about him fighting the likes of AJ, Dillian Whyte, Deontay Wilder, absurd. But, it is what it is. Let him do what he needs to do, make his money. It's the brand, Iron Mike Tyson. When you hear those words in the real iron letters, Iron Mike Tyson. You know what I'm saying? What else you got to say?
He was a real savage, in his day. And
Of course.
yeah, good look sharp. And I see the likes of Holyfield as well, with some clips online, also in training. I mean, Holyfield has always kept himself in good nick, I must say. He's just maintaining, and you see him, he hasn't fluctuated. But I see another clip from James Toney who's saying, look, man, I'm ready for the call, man. 0800, lights out. Let's get it.
Please, James Toney, do yourself a favor. What a great athlete in his time. His movement, his shot selection, it's just everything. His intellect was crazy, but he's past his best. When I mean a million years ago, his legs have gone. When he was boxing, his last few fights, he had to hold himself up by the ropes and stuff. James Toney needs to leave it alone. I know he wants to get to the money. He went to the UFC and kind of embarrassed himself against what's the old guy's name in there?
What's the old guy?
Randy Couture. Randy Couture is no joke anyway. That was always going to end that way because Randy Couture was never going to stand and trade with him. But I mean, he took him down, smashed him up, and got him out of there. But I mean, listen, it's all great. He talked himself into a big money fight. I don't know. Some of these guys ruined their legacy by continuing to fight on and do it for a paycheck. They needed to be a lot more smarter when they was there doing whatever they were doing and fighting. They didn't. And obviously now they got to come back with the gimmicks and saying I can beat this guy now and beat that guy now. And it's really sad, you know what I mean? Because at this age here, you could be doing real harm and detriment to yourself. You know what I mean? Coming in there, fighting guys and getting the shots you used to get caught with back in the day, you could take them and come back. Getting hit now, you could do yourself irreparable damage, you know what I mean? It's not really cool if truth be told. But I mean, listen, I get the brand, I get the business, I see what it is. And Mike Tyson coming back now, trying to fight Evander Holyfield for a third time. I think this is probably his best opportunity to, maybe get a win because he has no. Hold on one sec. He's got no chance of. He didn't have no chance of beating. He didn't have no chance of beating Evander in his heyday. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely a good opportunity to try and do that now. Let's see. But Evander, he put up. I saw him put up the first clip. He didn't look his greatest, but then I saw him put up another clip, and he looked a little bit sharper. And he's like, "I'm back." You know what I mean? So he looked a bit more like there was a bit more enthusiasm, like it was a bit more sharpness and whatever. You get what I'm trying to say? So it's interesting. I get it. I heard they're looking at Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, I'm sure. Listen, Mike Tyson. Everyone wants a piece of Iron Mike Tyson. They're going to give them good money. Eddie Hearn's going to put it on, make a fortune like he did. KSI, Logan. Eddie Hearn knows what's going on.
You see, Danny Williams, who beat Mike Tyson years ago, the South London native. You're a South London native. Do you see? He actually threw his hat in the ring. Said, "Look, Mike Tyson, let's do it. I'm ready."
Of course he's going to do it. Listen, of course why is he not going to do it? Think about this. He beat Mike Tyson when Mike Tyson was 38 and he knocked him out after 4 rounds. How the hell is Mike Tyson come back at 53 and people saying Mike Tyson's going to beat Anthony Joshua now? Are these people smoking? What are they smoking? Come on, man. Listen, Danny Williams, credit to him at his time. He was a beast. He was leading the way because he was technically very good coming through doing his thing. And he used to he beat Mark Potter with one arm, and he was a tremendous athlete doing his thing. He yet again has been fighting on too long. He has done irreparable damage to himself, His brain, his legs are gone, and he's still fighting now to pay for God knows what. I don't know what's going on in his life, but he's in a bad place. I think Mike Tyson might fix him now as well. Mike Tyson's got actually opportunity now to revenge that loss from him and revenge the loss from Evander Holyfield. I think that's Mike Tyson. What Mike Tyson should do is go for those guys now. That would be good for Mike Tyson. All the people that he lost to, even Lennox Lewis, throw him in the hat. I don't think Lennox Lewis has put up no gloves for a long time. Throw all of them in the hat and try to see if he can get them out in the first couple of rounds and revenge. And then he goes back and says to them, no, listen, I'm undefeated. I smoked all them suckers that smoked me. You get me?
It's crazy, man. Let's kind of politic on this whole thing about Deontay Wilder. You know, one minute you hear that there's a set price to take that step aside piece, money. Next minute you hear, by no means is he going to take step aside money. I mean, what would you advise Deontay Wilder to do? I mean, the check, if it's rumored, is pretty big. To chill, watch Fury and AJ go at it, and then fight the winner. What do you reckon?
The numbers that I've actually heard that are floating around are ridiculous, you know. I heard they was offering 8 million step aside. I heard then he went back and said, listen, I want 10 million to step aside. I don't know. The money, when you look at it, imagine being offered 10 million to step aside. You'd be a fool not to take that anyway. Even 8 million, because go back to the days where you fought for free and you didn't get any money. Now the opportunity is to give you an opportunity now for you to say, well, it's going to give me more time to prepare for another battle with whoever the eventual winner is. And guess what? Make even more money. If you paid me 10 million to step aside, guess what, buddy? How much are you going to pay me to get in the ring with you when I do go in the ring with the eventual winner? You know what I mean? So you got to look at it. Some people might look at it like, oh, he's a coward if he steps aside. But the people who say that, the naysayers, you know, what we got to look at is, hey, how much money have you made out of fighting, period? You got to look at the numbers. I understand it's about opportunity, but you must look at the numbers. And then what you got to look at is the time enough for Deontay Wilder to learn, bringing people in his camp to change and eradicate the flaws he has in such a short space of time? So now, being he's got a big pot of gold, they're going to offer him to step aside where he can use to bolster his armory with that money, bringing in other people, giving him more time. There has to be an educated, calculated decision here. Some would say, oh, some would say, yeah, oh, it's the coward's way. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do this. But, listen, every man to his own. Every man to his own, Some people say it's not the warrior code or this and that. But yet again, you must play smart. This business is about finances as well. It's about money. I hear about legacy, but many of champions that step aside and made money and then...
Yeah, sorry, we'll run that back. Yeah, many champions...
many champions, I'm sure, have stepped aside and done certain things in their time. But, at the position and the juncture he's in, I think, he's got a lot to learn. He's got to go back and rebuild and do the fundamentals. And I think it's a great possibility, that, for him. But let's see. To be honest, I've heard that Tyson Fury said he's not giving him one dime to step aside. He said, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to smash that little pansy's head in and get him out of the way, and then I'll fight Joshua. That's what I've heard. So, hey, I don't know, though.
I mean, I suppose you've got some good points there. I think you've got the pride side and then you've got the business side. The advisors will probably say, look, let's be smart about this. Let's relax. Let's rebuild. Take the check. A few more Bentleys, a few more Maybachs. Watch these two fight. And then you can have 6 more Maybachs.
Exactly. Pride, they say you should leave that at the door when you enter the gym. Just bear that in mind, guys.
Prize fighting. I see something online, obviously, as well, in terms of Dillian, talking about this behind closed doors thing doesn't bother him at all,
Of course it
He'll
doesn't.
have it in a car park, He'll if
Yeah,
necessary.
but I mean, listen, he's a businessman as well. Listen, he's a pay-per-view fighter. This does not concern him at all. He's a pay-per-view fighter. If you're a pay-per-view fighter, it does not concern you. Period. It's all numbers. You know what I'm trying to say? Crowd. I know he likes to go and entertain the crowd, but think about it. He's a pay-per-view fighter. And I mean, obviously now, if you're Joshua, where you do football arenas and stuff like that, obviously, again, you know, then it's something different. That's what Eddie Hearn's saying. He's saying, well, this would affect Joshua a lot more than it would Dillian because, you know, because of the numbers they'd lose on the gate, you know, because they do arenas. So it's just one of them. But I mean, listen, like he said, he fight in a car park, he fight no crowd. It's what it is. He just wants to fight, you know?
You mentioned Dillian. Obviously, we've talked about Joshua fighting Fury. But again, if these two fight, the step aside money's it's accepted, and these two fight, that's two fights potentially, and another delay. That will make it. I don't know how many more days.
Listen,
There'll be
you
a
know
few more
what? I'm just literally, you know, bored of talking about the same thing. It's just a sad situation that he finds himself in, and you know, in this game, you've got to be patient, which he has been, and yet again, now we're in a predicament where he could potentially, like you said, be behind two fights and then a Wilder fight. So they're going to move back the mandatory, but it's long. It's just a long-winded, winding road, and you just got to be smart and patient. But I'm sure, you know, they'll have to look at the team and maybe appeal to the WBC and see what their thoughts are. Maybe if Deontay Wilder wants to step aside, he may have to step aside until after those guys fight, and then they fulfill their obligatory as the mandatory fight him, and then I don't know, but there is a likelihood that it could get pushed back. You know what I mean?
So you're looking at potentially 21, 22, maybe. Wow.
I don't know. Listen, I'm going to try and be confident and positive about this. And I think the position has been spoke about many, many times. And it's been 2021 February. We've got to be positive, speak it into existence. And we've got to look there and say, you know, this is what we're believing and this is what we think it's going to be. And obviously, if it changes, then it's not an ideal situation. But we still got to look at what's in front of us. If they're saying they're going to fight Wilder and then they're going to try and look at what's the unification after, the possibility is they got to do that. And then obviously you're going to have to speak. Dillian might say, you know what, I'm going to make a legal battle of that. I'm going to force you to fight me before you make a unification match. So it still might work in the right terms and how it's meant to go. So I don't know. I don't know nothing about it. It's all hypothetical. I haven't spoken to them about none of this. I mean,
to be fair, some people will say, look, it might be getting to that point now where, you know what I mean, you might have to go that route to make this happen now. Do you know what I'm saying? Is the wait has been long.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, of course. You might have to force their hand and see. But let's listen, like I said, let's keep positive mindset. He's got a fight to get through. We're not going to overlook the kid he's fighting, Povetkin. Let him go and do his job, because he has to go and do a job before he's concerned himself with what's after. You know what I mean? And then we'll look at the table once, you know, AJ maybe fights Pulev and then talks about fighting Fury at the end of the year, or Deontay Wilder, whoever Fury's going to fight, and so on.
To conclude, I think probably a good idea is, hey, if the undisputed fight does happen, why not? Why not Dillian Whyte versus Deontay Wilder? In the interim,
They got to pay me good money to go in there and try and face that knockout artist there. I need good money, fam. Big old rusty me trying to go and fight the bronze bomber. Listen, if Dylan couldn't fight, and I'm sure he's not interested in fighting. He's not interested in fighting anyone anyway, to be honest.
I mean Dillian. Dillian against Wilder.
I don't know. I can't see Dillian trying to fight on the undercard. They're not going to be able to pay him enough money to do that. So I don't know. It's not impossible. It's not impossible.
Yeah. But look, either way, to summarize, look, there's a lot of money on the table. I think if you're in the top 4 heavyweights in the world, hey, you're going to be good financially, one way or the other.
Listen, if you're at where the stage of these boys are in their career, listen, there's a big pot of gold waiting around the corner for, you know, any of the ones in the top 4 or wherever, top 5. So, you know, they just got to be smart, play their cards right, and you know they're in the lottery position to go and fight for a world title and get the big payday they deserve.
Cracking stuff. Well, we'd like to thank the big man for coming through. Black Box management, Mr. Dean Whyte, the voice of reason. Pep Talk.
Come on, listen all day, every day. Thanks very much for listening. Tune in, subscribe.